August 14th, 1989, the Sega Genesis came out in the US. It was already out in Japan in 1988 in October, but we didn't get it until 1989. That means the Sega Genesis is 30 years old. That's insane. So, hello everyone, Video Game Lover here, and today I will be showing you my Sega Genesis collection, but it's going to be divided into two parts. I don't have enough storage to edit, so I have to do this in two parts. So, little history with the Genesis. I've had the Genesis for 14 years, since 2005. I got my first Genesis. I found it in a thrift store for like $20. Or maybe less than that, maybe $15. It was the Model 2 with two controllers. Didn't come with a game, unfortunately, but the next day I went to GameStop and I got Sonic the Hedgehog. Love the Genesis. Have so many games for it. It is one of the greatest 16-bit systems of all time. One of the greatest consoles of all time, next to the Super Nintendo and the PS2. It's my second favorite system of all time. I just love the Genesis so much. So without further ado, we begin. We're going to start off with my model Genesis. So this is the Model 1 with the Sega CD Model 2 and the 32X attachment. I don't really use the Model 1 anymore because this Model 1 is really malfunctioning. The picture goes out all the time. And it's just kind of a mess to now play it with. The Model 1 is one of the best models because you get the best sound, but in later Model 1s, the sound isn't all that good, so be on the lookout for that. But it has a headphone jack, so you can listen to the games with a headphone. So, very cool model. This is the model I grew up with, the Model 2. I've had this for such a long time. This model is good. The issue, though, is that the Model 2 has muffled sound. So it doesn't sound as crisp as the Model 1 should sound. So that's kind of the big disappointment. They did eventually fix it with later revisions of the Model 2. There was one called, the 2/3 motherboard version. That one is arguably the best Model 2 version. So be on the lookout on that. And then this is my favorite model, the Model 3. The Model 3 has great sound, but what makes this model very cool is that you can play Mega Drive games on this model. You can play Japanese Genesis games, which is really cool. The only downside is a few games aren't compatible with this model. And what was the other thing? The add-ons don't work, but this is still a really good model. And last but not least, the Sega Nomad, which is a portable Genesis. You can actually plug in your TVs. Y'all wonder where I heard that from. But anyways, the Sega Nomad's really dope. So yeah. Alright, now let's get into the controllers. So starting off with the Genesis controllers, we have the original 3-button controller. This is where it came, the controller that it came out with. It's a really, really comfy controller, really comfortable, but unfortunately, it's only 3 buttons. In later Genesis games, they will need 6 buttons, so it started to get kind of outdated, unfortunately. But the Genesis controller is still a classic, but they did fix it with the 6-button controller. This controller is one of the greatest controllers of all time. It is so comfortable. The D-pad is amazing. The buttons feel good. Everything about this controller is just excellent. And they even made it better with the Sega Saturn Model 2 controller. But amazing controller. Now, I got a few third-party controllers. This is the other 6-button controller I had. This comes with the Model 3. Very, very comfortable controller. A little bit even smaller than the other 6-button, but still a really nice controller. And this is the one I reviewed a while back. The other Model 3 6-button controller. This controller is very weird. It's like shaped as a 3 button. And I also have an arcade stick. So that's really nice. And it's pretty good. Alright, so let's get into the games. I still can't believe that the Genesis is 30 years old. I still remember doing the 25th anniversary video back in my original channel. So we're going to first do the box games. And starting things off is one of the launch titles for the Genesis. And it's Altered Beast. And it's complete. This game, I know it gets a bad rep because of how silly it is. But it's still an okay game. It's very short because you can beat it pretty fast. But it's still a good game nonetheless. It's one of the launch titles for the Sega Genesis. Of course, we have to mention Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Now, inside of this case is my original cartridge for Sonic 1. This is the one I've had for so many years. Very happy to still have it. I really enjoyed the first Sonic game, but it's definitely not as good as the later entries, obviously, but this is still one of the top tier games of the Genesis. And of course, Sonic 2, which is one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. I just love Sonic 2 so much, and I have this complete. Really amazing game. I play this Sonic all the time. It's just so damn good. Awesome Sonic game. Alright, so next we got the Genesis 6-pack. This contains Golden Axe, Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Revenge of Shinobi, Column, Streets of Rage 1, and Super Hang-On. I got this for Streets of Rage, the first one. This is a really cool compilation. You can get this dirt cheap. So if you're having trouble finding one of these games, I recommend getting this, because it's 6 games into one. We got Light Crusader for the Sega Genesis. This is made by Treasure. This is a really fun dungeon crawler game. It plays like Landstalker, except I like this one way more. It's a lot more easier than Landstalker, so I really enjoy this game a lot by Treasure. WrestleMania the arcade game for the Sega Genesis. This version is actually way better than the Super Nintendo version because not only does it have all the characters, it actually has, it plays a hell of a lot better than the Super Nintendo version. The Super Nintendo version runs a lot choppier. Of course, let's talk about one of the more popular games for the Sega Genesis. It's the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat 1. This is the one that brings up in discussion because this game was censored in the Super Nintendo version, but in the Genesis version, you got to keep there's a code to keep the blood, ABACABB. I did a Let's Play of this version. I will forever love this version of Mortal Kombat 1. It just plays so well. I really love Mortal Kombat 1 on the Genesis so much. This is like another one of my favorite Genesis games of all time. Just really cool. Sorry about that. Something was on my phone for a sec. Of course, we got Mortal Kombat 2. This version is as good as the Super Nintendo version, but I still have it. This I've had for a while. The Genesis version of Mortal Kombat 3. I had this for a long time, too. I really enjoyed the Genesis version of Mortal Kombat 3. Really cool game, obviously. I really enjoyed Mortal Kombat 3. Green Dog, the Beach Surfer Dude. I know this game gets a bad rep by GameSack. You know, a lot of them make fun of this game. I don't think this game is that bad. It's a little bit of a flimsy platformer, but I still think it's a fun game nonetheless. Now we get to one of my favorite games of the Sega Genesis and one of my favorite games of all time. And one of these days, I will do like a very in-depth video with this game. Contra Hardcore. Love this game so much. It is one of my favorite games of all time. My favorite Contra game ever made. It's just so much fun. It is challenging, but man, it's just incredible action in this game. It plays so well. Really awesome game. And here is one of my favorite Castlevania games, Castlevania Bloodlines. Awesome Castlevania game. I really enjoyed Castlevania Bloodlines. Ninja Turtles, the Hyper still nice. This is a really fun game. Even it may not be as good as Turtles in Time, but I still really like this, and I might live stream this game soon. Here we have one of the most underrated Genesis games of all time, and I'm amazed that this has never been brought up as best Batman games nor best Genesis games. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. I might consider live streaming this game. This game is so damn amazing, it's unbelievable. This game is a lot of fun. It's like Contra, but with Batman. It's kind of long, especially the two-phase level, but it's so good. It is a tough game, though, but really fun game. On to one of my favorite duologies of the Genesis, Vector Man 1 and Vector Man 2. Both are fantastic running gun games. Awesome games for the Sega Genesis. What makes these games very special is these games use pre-rendered 3D graphics. So they're kind of like the answer to Donkey Kong Country in terms of the graphics. But this is a really good game. Both of them are really good games. We got Mercs. Really fun running gun game. This is the Genesis version. Of course, another all-time classic, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. Awesome game. Really good game. Earthworm Jim. This version is actually better than the Super Nintendo version. The Super Nintendo version is missing one level and the sound is muffled. This game is actually a lot of fun. Really good game. Gonna have to kind of go through this quickly because my phone is running out of storage. Super Street Fighter 2 for the Genesis. I have this one in very good shape. This is a really good version, except for the music. The music kind of sucks in this version, but it's still good. Okay, now I'm going to have to go in depth with this game. Here we have a game that is pretty much like Doom, and it was released for the Super Nintendo. Not the Sega Genesis. Zero Tolerance. This is a first-person shooter game, and I actually have it complete, and actually really complete. Mega Dan did a Let's Play of this game. This game kind of aged a little iffy. It's kind of tough to go back to, but it's still a fun game. And it's still incredible that they were able to do a first-person shooter for the Sega Genesis. It's really, really incredible what they were able to do in this game. But yeah, really cool game. I really like it. Beavis and Butthead for the Genesis. I don't know where AVGN was coming from saying this is a bad game. I mean, yes, this is a hard game, but still a great game. Beavis and Butthead on the Genesis. Awesome game. Desert Demolition. This is actually a really fun Looney Tunes game. NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I know I'm going to get some flack for this, and I'm sorry about this. Landstalker, I did not like this game. I did finish it, but this game is so frustrating to beat. Man, this game is hard. But I have it nonetheless. I did like some of the things. Maximum Carnage with the red card. This is a really good version, but I prefer the Super Nintendo version. And I also want to point out, if you're going to play this version, you have to have the 6-button controller. Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi, really cool game. Subterranea, another very underrated Genesis game. It plays a little bit weird because of the control scheme, but it's such a great game. And the music in this game is absolutely amazing. Jesper Kid did the music for this game. It's unbelievable. Phenomenal music. And my last box Genesis game is another one of my favorites, Jurassic Park Rampage Edition. This is way better than the original Jurassic Park. Like, a lot better. It plays a lot better. It runs a lot better. It's just a lot more fun. And it's just a cart. So, yeah, that's Jurassic Park Rampage Edition. But, yeah, that is my box Genesis games along with my system. So, part 2, I will be doing my loose games. So, BRB.